Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Deceptiwolf. This here is Generation 2 Dreadwing and Smokescreen, and I start this review with a bit of an addendum. You see, I got this toy at BotCon, and although the mold is excellent, it has a few flaws due to the fact of being pre-owned, that being missing pieces and broken pieces. And I tend to make it a rule not to do reviews that have such things in them. So, I will be using him in the review, but not as you would normally suspect. No, I will be reviewing Beast Wars 2nd Starscream and BB. Weren't expecting that one, were you? In addition to these two versions of the mold, there are two more in later generations. One of them in Robot Masters as Smoke Sniper and Geigen Bomb, rather excellent names there, and in Robots in Disguise as Dreadwing and Smoke Jumper. As you may have seen, it only looks like one figure, not two. That's because Starscream is back here. Actually tucked away in the big BB over here. We just pull him out. And there we go. There's Starscream and BB. Both of these V-Wing bombers are very impressive looking. Although obvious differences here, this one here is a Decepticon from Generation 2, and this one is, oddly enough, a Predacon. But that was Japanese continuity. Not much I can do about that. As for size comparison, here is RID Prime Deluxe Soundwave. Kinda makes you miss the old days, doesn't it? We got Starscream back in here to show you something. First we click him again. You actually hear the click in there. And when we pull him out, he starts the automorph for BB/Dreadwing's third mode. His tank mode, in fact. Anyway, we will fold out the feet here. Then we will fold in the landing gear. Then we will press on this little button to expose the tank treads. Followed then by folding in the back part of the wings and folding out, without dropping the missiles, the Gatling cannon for BB/Dreadwing's tank mode. And what a lovely little mode it is. Here we also see why I don't review toys with broken items or lost items, because look at these two. This looks just far more menacing with all these extra weapons right here. All these extra bombs, in fact. Here it looks impressive, but it does seem to be missing something with Dreadwing. Unfortunate, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Here we are again. Let's see here now from the profile, from both figures. It does look a little funny. I mean, it's basically a folded up airplane, but still, not bad. And in fact, you can fire the missiles in a rather non-traditional way. You actually twist on the back of the cannon, and there you go. Firing missiles. Moving on to BB/Dreadwing's partner, we have Smokescreen/Starscream. Although, not much of a Starscream comparison to some of the other ones we know in Infamy, but still, a nice little jet mode. Rather skimpy on the wings, and these rather large cannons, well, they don't add much, except for perhaps bulk. And again, without the missiles, Smokescreen here seems to be missing something that Starscream here seems to be attained, that of a bit more of a menace, and armed and dangerous. As for comparisons, here again is Soundwave from the Prime line. Now you gotta remember, this figure cost enough by himself. He was part of a team. Kinda makes you think, doesn't it? Let's get on to the first transformation with Starscream here. First we will remove his guns. They will come into play a little later. Then we will separate the legs out. Fold those out here. Fold back the back fins for his arms. Fold them inward and under. Like so. Now here comes an interesting part because it involves a little bit of body twisting. So we'll first do this, fold out more of the body, twist this, fold in, fold down, make certain that they are, well, there are two tabs right here, two slots, very handy. Fold out his feet, and there we are. Beast Wars 2nd Starscream in robot mode. Bring Smokescreen back in here. And here we go. Now, one of the problems with Smokescreen is that he's missing the back end of his right foot. So again, that's another reason why I couldn't review him alone. But Starscream doesn't have that problem and stands up quite nicely. Taking a quick look at the head here, it seems to look a little bit more like Optimus Prime or even Soundwave than anyone else, but he does have a little Predacon crest, if that excites you. And some very decent light piping on Starscream here. And of course, the same can be said for Smokescreen here. A little bit of blue does make a bit of difference, especially without the head crest. Yes? Getting onto Starscream's articulation, he does have a rather tight swivel joint for the head. Triple swivel joints for the shoulder. Swivel joint for the elbow. No wrist articulation due to the fact that it's all molded one piece, but hey. No hip swivel, but again, part of the transformation. Ball jointed hip. Somewhat double jointed on the legs, on the knees. And no real ankle tilt, but you can move his feet a little bit. There you go. As for size comparison in robot mode, here's Soundwave again. And here things seem to even out a little bit more. Because obviously Soundwave here is much better articulated and clearly better designed, but still, you can't go wrong with a classic, can you? Anyway, back to BB. And let's get him in his robot mode, shall we? Surely. We will fold in the treads. Fold in what will be the feet later on. They have a nice little click to them. Okay. Then we will fold up this part of the engine intake. Eventually, come on, there we go. Out and out. Fold these parts out, they will become his arms. Fold out this part of his body, that will become handy later on. Fold out this part right here to get his legs going. There we go. Then here's the tricky part. You kind of have to fold in his cannon in an odd way to get him to kind of this to go up, and you make this go down partially. Fold in the rest of his legs. As you can hear, there's a rather resounding snap there to get it in. Fold out the head from right here. Fold out. Fold out, fold up, fold in for his cannon to be shoulder mounted. Usually moves a lot of missiles just doing this. And you actually push out this part of his, where the air intakes properly. Come on, there we go. Obviously it's a little bit stubborn here. Here we go. There we are. And there we are. BB in robot mode. One thing I should mention on the Gatling cannon, you can press these missiles in to lock them in place, but they're kind of a pain to get out again. You have to pull on them, and then while using the rotary switch on the back of it, I don't do it. You can if you want to, but you only do it if you're going to display him in either robot mode or his airplane mode, or maybe even his tank mode. But the point is, if you're going to use the feature, don't lock the missiles in. Here we see the large and impressive twosome together. Get a better look at these. Though I should mention that these are exceptionally back-heavy molds. So if you're going to have them in robot mode, you should probably have them propped up against something, unless you can find a good way to fix the back heaviness. He doesn't suffer from it as much as he does, but then again, this is a remold, so make of that what you will. As for BB/Dreadwing's articulation, head is on a swivel, double swivel joint on the shoulders, swivel joint, actually double swivel joint on the elbow, no waist swivel. See here now, forward motion on the legs, 45-30 degree knee tilt, no ankle articulation obviously. Well, simple, but it works. Taking a quick look at the head here, we can see some very effective and very bright light piping in here. It's also present in Dreadwing over here, although the effect is somewhat much nicer in red, don't you think? One thing I should mention, this Starscream and BB, they have the Korean version. I haven't seen any major differences in the mold, although that could just, any differences you might find may just be due to mold degradation. This is a reissue after all, but still, nothing should stop you from enjoying it. That does it for this review. This has been BB and Starscream. This has been Dreadwing and Smokescreen. This has been Prime Soundwave, and I have been the Deceptiwolf. And until next time, we wish you all a fond farewell.